The history of Fenyang Senior Middle School can be traced back to 1906 when Feng Chao Fu Middle School was established. The present location used to be Mingyi Middle School, which was established by the Christian Congregation Church of Carleton College in the USA. Today, 9 old Western-style buildings from that time are still well kept. Time is like a song, in that great changes have taken place. Today, after a lot of years, Fenyang Senior Middle School, whose goal of running the school is we want to extract the best parts of Chinese and Western education, and once combining them, integrate this mixture into our school lessons. Towers in front of us, famous for its first-class facilities, first-class teaching, first-class management, quiet and tastefully laid out environment, and brand new style and features. Fenyang Senior Middle School is one of the very few century-old middle schools in the Shanxi Middle School education history. Fenyang Senior Middle School occupies an area of 72,000 square meters with 232 faculty and 2,966 students in 42 classes. The quiet environment fosters the many talented youth who are here. There exists a perfect mix of pavilions, terraces, open halls, and great cultured teachers. The trees provide pleasant shade for students to relax and study in. The brightness of flowers, songbirds, and the sound of students reading aloud enhance each other's beauties. 100 years culture accumulation has brought Fenyang Senior Middle School to its current style of running the school. He who has a higher knowledge is the teacher. The model shade is always straight. Academic freedom in teaching benefits teachers as well as students. They rigorously enforce the norm, not restricting to one pattern, spreading Chinese and Western civilization and educating innovative talents. Time brings great changes to the world, and great changes have taken place. In the past century, Fenyang Senior Middle School was once a cradle of many groups of national men with tremendous promise, including national leaders, famous scholars, and distinguished personages of art. With the passing of a century, the cream of the crop roll out every year. Today's Fenyang Senior Middle School is feeling the strength of history and drawing from traditional, moving towards a bright future, developing the Fenyang Senior Middle School spirit of pursuing scholarly work rigorously, being willing to bear hardships, stretching oneself, and being happy in devotion. In today's environment of fierce competition, Fenyang Senior Middle School has become influential, and she is seizing the opportunity to develop herself diligently. Time has entrusted Fenyang Senior Middle School with an opportunity, and Fenyang Senior Middle School has seized it. Since the new administration of Fenyang Senior Middle School was set up in the spring of 2001, the school has invested more than 15 million yuan to improve teaching facilities in order to improve teaching conditions, perfect the infrastructure, optimize the learning environment, and promote teachers' qualities. Starting in 2001, 4 teaching buildings, which now together occupy over 8,000 square meters, have been built and put into use one by one. They consist of 60 classrooms and 30 teachers' offices. The newly completed student dormitories, covering 8,000 square meters, are equipped with first-class facilities and provide an excellent service to the school. The newly decorated students' dining hall can hold 2,000 students, where they can use a card to automatically pay for meals to create a convenient and comfortable environment. In order to improve the level of teaching students to experiments and research, Fenyang Senior Middle School invested 1.1 million yuan to build 9 new, up-to-standard physics and chemistry labs, 9 preparation rooms, and 1 biological specimen room. Also, Fenyang Senior Middle School has purchased a large amount of equipment, materials, and medicines to offer full experimental courses in physics, chemistry, and biology. The experiment teaching of the century-old school takes on an entirely new look. Besides that, Fenyang Senior Middle School invested 2,050,000 yuan to repair 1 library building, build a new library building, and purchase more than 100,000 books. Now the school library subscribes to more than 350 newspapers and periodicals. It also has more than 50,000 ebooks and more than 2,000 sets of visual audio materials, so that the teachers' and students' reading demands have been greatly met. In 2004, the school library was given the honor of being called the first. In November of 2004, the school library was given the honor of being called a first-class library of the Shanxi Province. Fenyang Senior Middle School invested 4.5 million yuan to take the lead in the whole district by building up a campus broadband network. What's more, Fenyang Senior Middle School is a model for other schools that are connected with the attached middle school of Beijing University. She is using the most advanced information research platforms of Chinese education to raise the education level of Fenyang Senior Middle School. Now, Fenyang Senior Middle School has 3 computer labs for teaching, 5 multimedia classrooms with 200 computers and more than 800 seats, and 50 multimedia teaching classrooms. Fenyang Senior Middle School invested more than 3,100 yuan to build up an observatory to greatly expand students' vision of the universe. We can say that Fenyang Senior Middle School has constructed a good environment for training indispensable high-quality talents. In October of 2005, a group of experts from the provincial government came to inspect our school. Upon the completion of this inspection, our school was named the first model school in the district. With the steady improvement of teaching quality and standards for running school during the past few years, more than 20 students were admitted to Chenghyang University and Beijing University, and more than 900 students were admitted to first-class key universities throughout China. These students are sentimentally attached to their mother school. Every time they talk about their mother school and teachers, they are always genuine and sincere and are beset with welling emotions.
While you're back at your mother's school, what do you want to say most? I hope students of my mother's school can make good achievements and exceed us. I am truly grateful to our teachers, and also I am grateful to their education. The great experience is made up of 3 factors: the teacher's leading role, students' study initiative, and a good study environment. These 3 points are very important for us to be admitted to key universities.
Wang Ximen is a young president who graduated from Shanxi Finance and Economics Institute in 1983 and succeeded in taking the position by a competitive examination in 2001. Returning to his mother's school after almost 20 years, he thought about doing a lot of things, but what he thought about most was maintaining and improving upon the good aspects of the old school, the history of the school's people, developing the idea of the former administration, the characteristics of running the school, and cultivating an atmosphere conducive to education. Several years have passed and his ideas have turned into realities one by one.
The history of Fenyang Senior Middle School is nearly 100 years old. It can be traced back to Fenzhou Fu Middle School, which was established in 1906. As early as the 1920s, during the Mingyi Middle School period, the school motto of "Study hard, practice hard, and work hard" was proposed. Since the threads of Chinese and Western civilization run through the history of the school, the present leadership really values spreading Chinese and Western civilization and educating innovative talents. Carrying forward the fine traditions of Chinese civilization and the humane spirit of developing individuals emphasized in the West, we formed our own school motto: improving virtue and studying hard, studying natural phenomena in order to acquire knowledge. And so our own idea of running the school was formed. In recent years, we summed up, perfected, and formed our ideology of running the school. Our school badge, school flag, and school song were all created in order to express our ideas. To our joy, we are trying to re-establish the cultural exchange relationship with Carleton College in the USA. Both sides are making great efforts to build a bridge that promotes Sino-American cultural exchanges.
In the past few years, he united and led a school leadership committee, pursued scholarly work rigorously, and widely accepted virtuous and talented people in order to meticulously create a high-quality teaching body. First of all, they started with stressing management and formed the Education Administration, made up of the Office of Academic Affairs, the Office of Morale Education, the Office of Grade Management, and also formed the Supervision Authority, made up of the Office of Teaching Research, subject offices, and groups of preparing lessons which serve to teach business. There are double lines, the Education Administration and Supervision Authority, walk abreast in the main management frame of Fenyang Senior Middle School was formed. In addition, the guidelines of All Submit to Teaching, All Serve Teaching were established to see innovation in being pragmatic and to see development in innovation. The two-way employment system of grade leadership and teachers competing for post and introducing the competitive system of selecting good and punishing the bad have activated the employing system. The further perfection and improvement of quality-based assessment has fully aroused the masses of teaching and administrative staff's working enthusiasm. The launch of research study and school teaching material, emerging like bamboo shoots after a spring rain, makes the old school of Fenyang Senior Middle School place herself toweringly at the peak of the tendency of the day. In the recent years, great changes have taken place due to the hard work of the students and teachers and due to the support of our city government and provincial leaders. They have been trying to actively build up the teaching and research atmosphere in order to create conditions for improving teachers' qualities. Since 2001, Fenyang Senior Middle School held 3 general training blocks about computer and multimedia teaching. By this training, all substitute teachers passed a Teacher's Information Qualifying Examination for middle and primary school teachers in Shanxi Province, and they have grasped the operative skills of the computer. Because multimedia teaching entered the classroom instruction, it enlarged its capacity, strengthened its result, and improved teaching quality, thus generating positive feedback from teachers and students. Supported by the Shanxi Teachers University, Fenyang Senior Middle School opened a postgraduate course in order to let our teachers become experts. Now 60 teachers have already received postgraduate academic credentials throughout this training. Nearly 60 teachers have already received postgraduate academic credentials through this training. Now Fenyang Senior Middle School has 3 teachers who have special classification, 33 senior teachers, and 40 intermediate teachers. The teaching body is experienced and influential. Among the teaching body, Mr. Ho Shishan is the teacher of the special classification of the Shanxi Province. He is also recognized as an outstanding teacher at the national level. Mr. Zhang Zhizhan obtained a Gold Key Award of the Shanxi Chinese Research Institute. Mr. Ning Guangcheng, Mr. Liu Xingsheng, Ms. Tian Guanghua, Ms. Jia Pin received Teaching Experts recognition in the Shanxi Province. Hao Xingsheng, Hong Guishu, Hu Lianhua, Dong Ding Huang, Ren Shunxing, Li Hongchao, and Jing Shungzhang got recognition as provincial subject forerunners and key teachers. On this basis, Fenyang Senior Middle School still encourages teachers to develop teaching research activities, promoting teaching by carrying out teaching research, and guiding teaching research by teaching. An atmosphere by letting 100 schools of thought contend has been formed. By the development of school teaching material, establishment of new courses, development of research study, and the carrying out of topics, this research has enormous potential to cause the great substantial forward development of Fenyang Senior Middle School.
In today's Fenyang Senior Middle School, a teaching atmosphere of harmonious development has been formed because of 100 years culture accumulation. We have a young teaching body full of vigor. Among the 162 full-time teachers, 53 possess postgraduate degrees. They are the mainstays for our school's continuous development.
In March 2003, Fenyang Senior Middle School was given a certificate of registration by the State Administration of Foreign Experts Affairs, and we have begun to employ foreign experts ever since then. Very few schools in the whole province are able to do this.
In the past few years, the Foreign Affairs Department of Fenyang Senior Middle School organized rich and colorful extracurricular activities. For example, we succeeded in holding our first English festival. In addition, we also carried on a one-week cultural exchange with New Zealand teachers. As early as the 1920s, we had a friendly connection with Carleton College in the USA, and we have started to re-establish the connection between the two schools.
An outstanding teaching body and this good study environment have brought up students with far-sighted ambitions. The style and features of campus that impart knowledge and educate people have been formed at Fenyang Senior Middle School.
Imparting knowledge and educating people are century-old traditions that have been passed on. They are a means to teach and a base to educate people. The words behind me, learning to be a true man, were said by Tao Xinzhi, a contemporary educationalist in China. His original words were, "No matter how many times you teach a person to look for truth. No matter how many times you learn to be a true man." In that vein, our school has proposed the aim of our institution as educate modern people who can study, who can survive, who have morality, who can create and develop in an all-around way. In addition, good education should give helpless souls hope, make the crooked backbone tall and straight, and strengthen the feeble body.
Fenyang Senior Middle School has carried out a lot of beneficial attempts in educating people in order to realize the aim of the institution, such as the annual military training for newcomers and the campus cultural festival to show the intelligence that are of the teachers and the students. From the deliberately planned Zhezhi Garden to the formation of the Jingxing Garden, from the design of the school gate to the idea of learning to be a true man in the Science Garden, from the beauty of botany enhancing each other with villa selections to the different names of the teaching buildings of Ningxi, Chouxin, Zhongyong, and Gui, all imply that the people of Fenyang Senior Middle School are thinking of education and thinking of campus culture. With the passing on of a century, we have made great achievements. Good education can only be set up on the basis of respecting and trusting each other and on tolerant and optimistic expectations. Love is a foundation of good education. If a person has never experienced remarkable brilliant showers, has never experienced an abundant and beautiful inner world, if he or she has never read a book which has made him or her excited, if he or she has never experienced exciting activities in study, if she or he has never had deep internal experience, if she or he has never produced a deep reverence of nature's variety and harmony, if he or she has never set out sincere high praise to the magnificent culture that mankind has created, then he or she has not yet received good, real education. In the dawn of a new century, the entrepreneurs of Fenyang Senior Middle School, the new century people, with energetic enthusiasm, love, and confidence, are sparing no effort to practice the ideal of good education.